Hey there, and welcome to the Gap Year Podcast. My name is Michelle Dittmer, and I am your host and Gap Year expert. Sorry this episode's a little bit late, but I wanted to make sure we got our last event in, which happened this past Saturday, for our 2024 in-person cross-Canada tour of Gap Year information sessions. It was a record year for Can Gap. We had in-person sessions in Ottawa, Victoria, Vancouver, Calgary. I spent a whole week in New Brunswick, Oakville, Toronto. We had virtual presentations in Saskatoon. Holy moly, it was a whirlwind trip. And I have so many things I want to share with you about what happened on this trip and some of the things that we discovered doing all of these amazing presentations. Now, obviously, first of all, it goes without saying, I can't believe how beautiful our country is. On this trip, on this tour, I got to see both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, flew over the Rocky Mountains, drove through Fundy National Park, and I had really hoped to see the Hopewell Rocks, but unfortunately the park was closed when I was there. But really, wow, we are so lucky to live in such a beautiful and diverse country from a geography perspective, from a cultural perspective. Really, it reinforced my belief that Gappers should 100% spend some time on their gap year traveling our country. Really, there is so much here to see. You don't need to head overseas to have a really magical experience. So whether you are into urban adventures or the wilderness or culture or language, there is really so much within Canada to see and learn. Had wonderful interactions learning about different Indigenous histories and cultures, looking at some of the natural wonders that we have, learning about different industries, even the dialects from region to region and the accents that Canadians have. Really, there is so much for us to do and to really get out there and see this country and meet all of the wonderful people. And when I say wonderful people, I really mean it. Canadians are just so welcoming, so kind, and especially our gap year friendly communities. Oh my goodness. And the folks in education, so welcoming of our team. And we're so supportive of the work that we do at Can Gap. So just really thrilled with all of that. But beyond the wonders of our country and its wonderful people, I learned and frankly relearned so much that I wanted to share with you, our listeners. So first of all, I want to talk about the value of us being humans and being in community with other humans. Really out of necessity, through the pandemic, out of the accessibility for such a large country, virtual presentations are 100% a necessary tool. We want to reach as many people as we can, and it's expensive. We, quite frankly, don't have the funds or the staff to be able to head out and present in all of the communities. And if you sent us a message and said, hey, you got to come to Edmonton, hey, you've got to come out to Thunder Bay, we heard you and we would love to come. So regardless of where you are, if there is a local sponsor that would like to bring our team out in person, just send us a message. We would be more than happy to figure out how to make that happen. Really, it's just a matter of a lack of funds. So if you've got someone who would be willing to sponsor it, just reach out to us through the website and we will find a way to come to your community because we believe so strongly in getting this message out. So getting back to the virtual presentations, while we do amazing virtual presentations, that there's limitations to that. Really, it's a download of information. We share with you and you consume. It's very one way. And really, it's hard to feel connected through that screen. So when I'm presenting, I can smile all I want into my camera, but without seeing your reaction, without feeling your energy, without reading your body language or facial expressions, it's really difficult for me to make sure that I'm hitting on all the things that are important to you. So I think the value of in-person presentations is just astronomical. So I really am grateful that we were able to get to as many destinations as we could this year. And I look forward to expanding that in the future. And again, if there's any way any of our listeners can support with that financially or logistically, we would love, 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 love to hear from you. Now, something that's very interesting, and it is kind of a vestigial thing from COVID and people participating in virtual presentations for years on end, it's really changed the way that a lot of folks show up to in-person events as well. The way that we design our Gap Year Information Tour is that it's workshop style. It's very interactive and very participatory, and we want you to get involved. But you know what? That makes some people very uncomfortable. When I say that in the session, they kind of look at me with their eyes and say like, do I have to? Or why are you making me do this? Can't I just sit here and consume? And I just wanted to make a little note on here's why we design the presentations like we do. And it all comes down to the fact that we are human, and we need to be humans together with each other. And that involves talking and sharing and interacting in general. And we all do need a little bit more practice with this. And while it is all about those things, it's also about not having to share things that are too personal to you. So we want you to participate, be involved, and have a good time, but without feeling like you're getting too far out of your comfort zone. So we design it in a way that we have that share back and it's voluntary, but it's a really great way to interact with people in the same room. And I truly believe, and this is probably my teacher coming back out of me, but to really engage with the material, that is when you're really going to get involved. That's when you're really going to learn it. That's really when you're going to internalize it rather than just sitting there and consuming it. I can't tell you how many virtual conferences I've attended and I've walked away. I can't even remember what sessions I went to because I was too busy checking my email or drawing a picture because I wasn't paying attention. So really getting there, being hands-on, being fully present is just really, really important. And to be honest, in-person sessions are just more fun. We get to laugh, we get to interact with each other and just have a really good time. So beyond just the fact that there's no replacement for in-person sessions, we learned a couple things about the gap year landscape in Canada as well. And there are many, many universal gap year elements, and there's a couple of little regional or community-based ones too.